Go. Steve. Steve. Steve.
Oh yeah, man, I'm sorry, what?
Would you care to tell us...
Hey man, are these your cigarettes, man?
Yes, they are.
Can I have one of them?
Yes, you may.
I don't have no cigarettes, man. I didn't get to the store.
Steve, could you tell us who some of your musical
I'll take this
influences
one.
are? Take anyone you want. So, would you care to tell us who some of your musical influences are? Steve?
Yeah, I got a lot of them, man. Like my musical influences, like those, you mean like the people like who influenced me mainly like in like my musical career or something, man? You know, you gotta be more, specific than that, you know what I mean? If you're Pacific with me, then I can do it again. I want to use the word Pacific.
Alright.
Yeah, do it again. Alright, got it? Let's try to do it quick so we can get this down. Alright, go ahead, go.
Go. Steve. Steve. Steve.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention, man. No, don't have to get nasty about it.
I'm sorry as well.
Hey man, are these your cigarettes,
Yes.
man? Can I have one of these?
Yes, you may.
I don't have none. I didn't get to go to the store, man.
Obvious. So, who are some of your...
I'm gonna take this one.
Take anyone you like. Who are some of your musical influences?
You mean like the people like who influenced me like musically like in my career? You know, I mean like, you gotta be definitely more Pacific with me, man. Or, like how do you mean that question, man? It's like a two-edged question. It's like who influenced me or who did I influence in my musical career, who had the most influence like on myself or somebody else. I don't know exactly what you mean. If you could be a little clearer, then, be able to be all right, you know what I mean?
Well, who are some of the main figures in rock and roll who've inspired you?
Oh, man, now that... Oh, I know, I get you now, man. That could be...
Good, I'm glad.
That's like a weird, question, man, because that's a big field, man. You're talking rock and roll, all right? I mean, that could be, a lot of people. But I have to admit that, the main person who influenced me has got to be Noel Harrison, man. That fucking guy, man, he's a musical genius, man.
Noel Harrison?
Yeah, Noel Harrison, man. His father's the actor, man, Charles Lawton.
I was under the impression that his father was Rex Harrison.
No, man. Rex Harrison is George Harrison's father. The drummer from the Beatles, man.
I see. Anyone else?
A lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people that influenced me, man. Like some of the black groups, man. Oh, man, you cannot beat, man, the Moteens for having rhythm, man. They're like some of the best, man. You got Little Stevie Wonderous. You got him. You got who's the guy who sung that song? Sitting at the Dock of the Bay. That's Richard Crenna. You got a lot of fine black talent, man. I mean, the inner city, man, the ghetto, man, is like a hotbed of musical hotbeds. I mean, it's very big down there. They're always into music. You go to Coney Island, man. They're all popping their fingers, man, and they're looking to ride on the roller coaster, man, trying to bum $5 off you or something like that, some kind of shit. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. That's the music, man. I mean, I have a lot of influences, man. If I want to go back to the old days, man, some of the big black groups, man, oh man, Al Jolson, man. He sung with the Crickets. And there's Billie Holiday.
Al Jolson?
Yeah, man, Al Jolson.
Billie Holiday.
Yeah,
you don't mean Billie Holiday.
No, man, Billie Holiday, man. Billie Holly, man. Don't you remember the song? How'd it go? It went something like, I'll sing it for you. How'd it go? Hey, bop-a-ree-bop, I'm my baby. Hey, bop-a-ree, bop, I don't mean maybe. Hey, bop-a-ree, bop,
I think what you're singing is done by Gene Vincent.
Oh, yeah, man. Gene Vincent's like one of my favorites, man. I know him a long time, man. He's got it fucking rapped. He's good. He's a good performer, man.
Gene Vincent hasn't performed in 4 years.
No, man. Gene Vincent is still playing, man. He's like one of the best, man. He's got a society orchestra. I tried out for them, man. I went down and tried out for it. But, you know, like they said, like they didn't need a singer like me. But I could have been with Gene, man. You know, he's good, man. He's got cash, man. He could further his career. He's got the capital. The fucking guy's got it wrapped with that pizzeria, man. His father, Croak, left him the whole business. He gets the cheese, he gets the sauce, he gets everything. He gets that from Momo and Mooney, man. And they get it for him cheap in the neighborhood. Yeah, I have all my favorites, man. I like them all, man. I like Eddie Cochran. He's very popular with myself. He's like one of the biggies. You know, Eddie Cochran and his sister Maureen Cochran. You know, she used to play on all them Disney pictures. You know, like Bachelor Florida. I think she played Daddy's, you know, Here's Daddy or whatever that show was with the guy with the big nose. You know, the guy with the big nose, he's still on TV.
Eddie Cochran's sister on TV?
Yeah, man.
I'd never heard that
Oh, it's in the TV Guide, man. You read the TV Guide, man. You don't listen to this gossip shit, man. You gotta realize, people in show business, man, it's a very, very tight-knit family. It's like you could have one guy who's like a big actress, man. He could be like one of the top of the guys, like Tony Franciosa, man. That's an actor, right? You have him, right? And then, you know, before you know it, you turn around, man, and somebody else is, like, related to him. And that's how come they're where they are, man. You know? Like Telly Savalas, man. Telly Savalas. You know who he's related to? Walter Brennan. Not Walter Brennan. Who's the guy who was in A King and I?
Yul Brynner and Telly Savalas?
Yeah, man. Don't they have a resemblance? I mean...
Well, they're both bald.
Oh, man, they're both Greeks. Don't you know anything about show business?
Apparently not.
Of course not, man. That's why I'm in the business and you're making documentary film.
The way you talk about Gene Vincent, it's as though you'd seen him recently, and
Yeah, man. I saw him maybe 2-3 weeks ago down at Coney Island Avenue. He was delivering pies.
Well, Paulie had earlier mentioned Eddie Cochran as being alive.
Yeah, Eddie Cochran's alive.
Eddie Cochran is dead.
Where do you hear this shit, man? Maybe he's dead in England, but he is certainly not dead in Brooklyn, US of A.
What does Eddie do?
Eddie, man, he hangs out. Like, sometimes you see him, he'll go down by the bay, by Caesar's Bay Bazaar. You know, you see him in there, he'll cop something, you know, or maybe he'll be down there, he's checking out, you know, he's got $250 pair of Italian-made shoes on. Sometimes he got silk socks. I mean, the guy's a snappy dresser, man, but he must be doing something. I mean, he plays and all, but not that much to make that kind of bread, man.
He plays?
Sure, man. Sure.
And what exactly is it that Eddie plays?
I mean, don't you know what Eddie Cochran plays, man?
Well, apparently not.
He plays the fucking accordion. He can play, he's multi-musically versed. He can play the accordion, he plays the recorder, he can play the harmonica, he can play the Jew's harp. The fucking guy is good, man. He's got good chops, too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on a recorder, man. He can make that thing like wail, man. You know, like what Benny Goodman was to the drums, man, he is to the recorder. That's music.
I see.
This is a nice room.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You know, I never thought that the Holiday Inn was so good looking. Usually we stay at the Scotch Inn.
Uh-huh. Steve, would you care to tell us about some of your experiences with groupies?
Groupies? Oh, man. Listen. First things first, man. I gotta tell you that with me and groupies, I got like a sexual magnetism, man. Like I go into a room.
Magnetism.
I have that, man. I go into a room, right? And right away, like, man, when I'm on stage, I know that the women are looking at my crotch, man. I know they're looking at my crotch. And I wear black pants on stage, man, and they still look at my crotch. And it's not just because I have a orange circle down there. That's not just the reason, man. It's because of my sexual magnetism. That they sense from me that I have this something that they want to take into themselves, like to sap my energies, my vital forces, if you would.
I see.
You know, and they just naturally fly. It's like any entertainment.
Somehow I recall having heard that someplace.
I heard that
before.
Elvis Presley went over pretty good with the bitches.
Uh-huh. Did you have any encounters, so to speak, with any famous people?
Oh, yeah, man. All the fucking time, man. You would be surprised. I mean, when we went and we were doing some filming, man, when we were working on Ferry to Jersey. Oh,
Ferry across to Jersey, yes.
yeah. When we were working on that, man, I had big names out the ass, man. They all just wanted to play a little tuna-foon on the old bonophone, if you know what I'm saying.
Would you be averse to naming?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, man. I don't really like to go around dropping names.
Uh-huh.
But Irene Ryan was hot.
Irene Ryan. Irene Ryan. You mean to say Irene Ryan from the Beverly Hillbillies, Grandma from the Beverly Hillbillies, was a groupie of yours?
She may have been old, man, but she gave fucking dynamite head. She was outrageous. She was something. She was a good lady, man. I heard she passed over, man. That she's no longer walking around like with us, man. Like she's gone to the better place, man. And she's sitting on his right hand. I mean, it happens. Her, you know, man, other women, man, you would be surprised, man. B. Benaderet. She basically liked Paul, man. She likes him tall and thin, man. She went after Paul in a big way, man. But Paul, like, at the time, man, he had to let her down. She wanted to leave her husband, who was a film producer, man, but Paul said, listen, forget it. That just isn't going to happen. He washed his hands of the whole thing, man. Said, fuck this. And we went out to the racetrack that day. I lost about 20, 30, maybe even more. $40. We were high rolling that day.
I see. Would you care to comment on the vast number of paternity suits that have been directed at you?
Hey, listen, man. All right, let me straighten something out with those paternity suits, man. What those women are basically trying to imply is that I am the father of their illegitimate children.
So I've heard.
That's ridiculous, man. Because, number one, their kids, right, are little bastards and bitches. Which what that means is that they don't have no father. So if they're saying I'm the father, it's impossible, man, because the kids don't have a father.
Well, there are photos of you at childbirths and
Oh, yeah, I
also
went there.
explicit sexual photos.
No, man. Well, yeah. That might have been me, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's as far as it went. Maybe some explicit sexual stuff. Other than that, I had nothing to do with them broads. And a lot of them were fucking rubbers anyway.
But if you didn't have sexual intercourse with them, how could they have your children?
Oh, thank you, man. This ain't no trick, is it? That's good. What is that? What do you mean, how could I have? What do you mean if I didn't have sexual intercourse with them? All right. Hey, man, how many times have you, had sexual intercourse with somebody and not had a kid?
Hmm.
See?
But in your quote directly after the news conference, when the first of these suits was announced, a charge of your father and 7 children. Your statement to the press was unbelievable. Do you recall what you said at that time?
No, I might have been, I don't really remember.
Well, let me quote. According to the recollections of the reporter, your statement was, hey, I might have fucked them, but I never touched them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's exactly right.
Am I to believe that you think that by never having touched them, they could not possibly have become pregnant?
That's right. If you don't touch somebody, they can't get pregnant, right? I mean, let's face it. In order to fuck somebody, you gotta touch them. I fucked them. I fucked them, man. I screwed them bitches sideways. But I never fucking touched them. And that's where it's all at.
Mm-hmm. Well, while we're on the subject of sexuality, how do you feel about homosexuals?
Oh, man, let me tell you something, man. When you go to Hollywood, man, or anywhere, even if you go to, like, Greenwich Village, there are so many fucking fags. And if anybody who is watching this is of the faggy persuasion, then I'm not trying to be derogatory or, to say you're diseased or anything like that. But let me tell you, these sick motherfuckers are all over the place, man. You can't go into a bar. You go into a bar, right? You get yourself maybe a drink, maybe bourbon, or maybe you have something like a lime with vodka in it, or something like that, or tequila, where you put pepper on your hand and lick it and then you drink it, and later on it gives you the shit in about an hour and a half. I mean, you go into a bar, man, you be standing there and some guy comes by. Perfect example was when we first signed with the first label we got on, man. I go into this big studio, man. I mean, with office buildings, with panel walls, and secretaries with fat knees. You know what I mean? I walk in, right? And I go into the John, man. This is like a public bathroom. A public John. And I walk up there, right? And I whip out my Roscoe, man. And I'm pissing in the urinals, right? And all of a sudden I see something to my left, man, on the ground. I thought it was a little dog ran in or something, but it was a guy, man. A guy in a business suit on his hands and knees eating urine-soaked Italian bread. I said, what the fuck is the matter with you? What the fuck are you doing? And this guy, man, said, teach his own. I sly-rapped the motherfucker, man. I put him right out. Turns out, he was like the head of the studio, and that wasn't such a good move, because we got bounced off the label. But, I mean, would you want to smell his breath? I mean, you go to Hollywood, man, there are fags all over the fucking place. You got Charleston Heston, Now, Charlton Heston, you got him, you got Rod Steiger. Rod Steiger, man, one of the biggest fags in fucking Hollywood. I ain't saying he's queer or nothing. I mean, maybe he is. But, you never can tell. You know what I'm saying? They're all over the fucking place. People, big macho guys, man, like in the movies. Like, you see them, like Charleston Heston, man. He's riding around, snapping a whip, got big muscles. Next thing you know, he's down on his knees, man. And he ain't praying. It's a sick society, man. And they say that, like, in rock and roll or in popular music, like, everybody's, like, got a problem, or who's this, or who's on dope, or who's doing that. All right, in rock and roll, right, there may be a lot of homosexual faggots. All right, there may be a lot of people fucking each other, and there may be a lot of drug addicts, right? But it's not like a lot of queers and people fornicating in Hollywood. It's a completely different scene, man.
I see. Well, how do you feel about...
It just went up. Just at the last second there.
Oh, wow.
Got
You got through all of that?
Yeah, well, this is gonna have to be edited. I'm meandering too much in this.
No, are you kidding?
I don't know if there was